Okay, fine. Let's start. We want to do our C++ program, which will be coming on for your practical examination. So as a part of your practical examination, you have to do 4 C++ programs. According to your syllabus, you have 12, out of which I have selected 4. If you have any choices, you can give me those choices also. And my first 3 choices are quadratic equations, Monte Carlo program, and also calculating sin x, tan x, and exponential. And the last program which I have chosen is either binary or velocity of a rolling body. Which of one we can do. Also, you have another 8 options in your syllabus. If you have any other choices, yes, we can work on that also. So today we'll be working on quadratic equation. This is a commonly asked question. So let me share my screen first. So this is our first program, finding the roots of a quadratic equation. You might be already familiar with what a quadratic equation is. A quadratic equation is an equation at the power of 2. That's why it is quadratic equation. So it will be definitely of the form ax square plus bx plus c. So what we need to do is to solve for x, to find the root of x, and we are familiar with this equation of finding the roots, and that is x is equal to minus b plus or minus root over b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Here a, b and c are the coefficients of x square, x, and the x to the power 0 variables. So in C++ program, what we have to find is the roots. So here we have three different cases. That is, when the b square minus 4ac can be equal to 0, it can be negative or it can be positive depending upon the values of b, a and c. Therefore, there occur a problem while dealing with this, because we have 3 different solutions available. B square minus 4ac, which is usually called as the discriminant. So we have to find this discriminant such that if the discriminant is equal to 0, that is when b square minus 4ac equal to 0, then we will have only one root, and that is minus b by 2a. Actually, we have 2 roots which are similar. So if discriminant is equal to 0, then we have 2 roots. They are real and equal. If the discriminant is positive, then our root will be positive. Then the value of x will be a real number. The value of x will be, then we will be having 2 different roots, and that will be minus b plus b square root over b square minus 4ac by 2a, and minus b minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a. These will be our 2 roots, and these 2 roots will be real but will be different. If the discriminant is less than 0, then the quantity which is coming inside the root will be negative, so we will have a complex number over here. So our roots will be minus b plus I into some value divided by 2a and minus b minus some value divided by 2a. So this will be, these two roots will be complex and will be definitely complex of a complex conjugate of each other because they differ only in a sign. So we will be having two roots. They are complex and they are different, and they are also complex conjugate of each other. These are the three cases that we have to deal with. These are the possible roots. For determinant is equal to 0, we will have two roots equal. For determinant greater than 0, we will have two different roots. And then determinant less than 0, we will have two different roots with a complex, with an imaginary part and a real part. So the program logic will be, what we can do is actually using an if-else case. That is, first we will calculate the determinant. We will ask the user to give us the determinant, give us the coefficients, value for the coefficients a, b and c. After that we will calculate the determinant. So this determinant can be calculated as b square minus 4ac. Then we will check if the determinant is equal to 0 or greater than 0 or less than 0. Then for each case, we will calculate the roots and produce an output, produce a Cout as the roots. So this can be done only with a nested if-else case. A single if-else case won't work because here we have three different cases. So we have to use a two-step, a nested two-step if-else in this case. So this is a sample program which I've written. I've compiled it in DEV C++. Is anybody ready with their compiler here? Is anybody ready with their compiler to work on? Can you respond? I can see you. Guys, please respond. Are you all joining from your phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there anybody joining from your laptop as I've recommended with this compilers ready so that you can try it with us? I'm not reading your chat right now because I'm sharing my screen. You must respond in voice.
Ma'am, the compiler isn't responding for me. Both that Dev and the other one.
Okay, fine. Which is your system? Is it Windows?
Windows 7, ma'am. It's PC, not laptop.
Okay, fine.
ടീച്ചർ
Is
എൻ്റെ ഞാൻ ഇൻസ്റ്റാൾ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് ടീച്ചർ കമ്പനി
compiler install ചെയ്തു ഏതാ ചെയ്തത്?
ദേവ് സി പ്ലസ്
Okay, DEV ചെയ്തു. Okay, with Turbo C++?
Ma'am, I have installed Turbo C++, but it's not working.
It's not working? Okay,
Yes.
which is your system? Is it Windows?
Windows 8.
Okay, fine, it must be working. Actually, there are some bugs related to Turbo C++. It's not working with mine also. So I'll be working in DEV C++. But actually, the compiler which is available in your lab is Turbo C++. There is a small change in the syntaxes while working in Turbo C++ that I'll be telling you about that while I'm working with. So how many of you are now ready to work in any of the compiler? Please respond. How many of you are ready? No one. Guys, please respond. I can't see you, please. Is anybody ready to work with me, or should I continue with the lecture and you will work it out later?
ടീച്ചർ സ്ക്രീൻ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരും ടീച്ചർ.
You can work on other. After that, എന്തെങ്കിലും errors ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ if you can share your screen, I can see your screen and see what you are doing. Errors കാണാൻ പറ്റും. If you don't have any errors, then it will be fine.
ഓക്കെ ടീച്ചർ, ഞാൻ ഇതുപോലെ ചെയ്യും.
Okay, fine. So only Adil is working. Is there anyone else? Okay, let's move on. So this is a program which I've written in DEV C++. So here I have a hash, sorry I missed it. So hash include IOStream and hash include CMath. You can also include, instead of CMath, you can use math.h. It's also fine. So hope you're familiar with this hash include. What is this hash include? It's a preprocessor directive. Hope you have already seen the lecture videos. I'm not checking with the view numbers. Hope you are already familiar with this. This is hash include is a direct preprocessor directive, and IOStream, CMath, everything is library which is we are calling into our processor, and using namespace standard which is used to identify the cout, ent, lc, in etc. Now I am using an int main here. You can also use void main or any other main without any other preprocessor. Also you can use main simply. I am using an int main here and defining some of my variables in float. It can be int also. You can define a, b and c in int, but I have defined it in float. It's okay. Now I have defined my variables a, b and c so that I can take in the coefficient into these variables a, b and c. I have again used x1, x2 to save the roots. Again variable discriminant to save the value of the discriminant. Then two variables, real part and imaginary part, since I have to work with a complex number. So, and first what I have done is I have asked the user to enter the value for the coefficients a, b and c. So this will be couted. It will be printed on the screen as enter the coefficients of a, b and c. Now the user will enter the coefficients a, b and c. Now these a, b and c will be stored into the variable using the cin and the extraction operator a, b and c. These three numbers which I have entered will be saved into the variables a, b and c. After that I have calculated the discriminant. The discriminant is calculated as b square, so b into b minus 4ac. Here remember you have to put in this star sign everywhere. You can't simply write 4ac. You have to write it as 4 into a into c. Everything will be entered with a semicolon. After that we are using an if-else loop, a nested if-else loop. Here I have an if loop. After that else with an if again and an else loop. So this is my program, and here I have three conditions. So I have used if, else if and else. So it's a two-step nested if-else loop. So the first condition I have tried is if discriminant is greater than 0. You can give any condition like if discriminant is equal to 0 or discriminant is less than 0. Anything condition I have just started with if discriminant is greater than 0. So if discriminant is greater than 0, we know that we have two answers. They are real and they are different. So we will be calculating those two roots. So x1 and x2 here are used to store the value of these two roots. Now I have calculated the two roots as minus b plus square root. SQRT is the square root operator for square root, which will be coming from the CMath library. If you are not including CMath, the square root won't work. Square root of discriminant. So this is the syntax of using the square root. For using square root, you have to type SQRT, and within the parenthesis you have to give the variable name discriminant. If you have
Yes,
the
ma'am.
variable name discriminant, then it can be discriminant. If you have given any other name, say d, itself is okay, d is equal to b square minus 4ac, then you have to do it a square root parenthesis. Within the parenthesis you have to give it as d. Now the equation is minus b plus square root of the discriminant, the whole divided by 2 into a. This is our first root and it will be stored into the x1 variable. The next root is minus b minus square root of the discriminant, the whole divided by 2 times a, and that will be stored into the another variable x2. Now this is what we can get an output. To get an output,
Ma'am,
we will, yeah.
ma'am, is this Turbo C plus?
Uh, Let me see. Wait a minute. Yeah, no, this is DEV. I think so.
Written Turbo C plus plus.
As a Turbo C++.
Yes.
Turbo C++ comes with a blue screen. This seems like DEV. It's not clear for me actually.
Ma'am, I will send a picture in your WhatsApp. Can you check later?
Yeah, sure. You can work with any other compiler, Sumaya. It's fine. Any C++
Okay.
compiler will work. It's not a necessary that you need to stick on to one particular compiler.
Okay, ma'am.
So we were in this portion. So we have calculated two different roots and we have saved it in two different variables. After that, we are giving an output that roots are real and different. This is what we have to tell about this. This line can be avoided, but using this line will make your program look a bit okay. Now I am ending this line. To end this line, I am giving an end L so that the other will go to the next line, and see out x1 is equal to the value stored in x1 and x2 is equal to the value stored in x2. So this is how I have written my program. You can write it in any possible forms. You can write it as the value of x1 and x2 is equal to x1 x2, any other form, any other root you can root. Just the logic have to be same. The output you can design it as yourself. So after doing the discriminant greater than equal to 0, make sure you put all these things within a curly braces after the if. This all come for the first case. So everything have to be between these two curly braces. After that, you have an if else if statement. If discriminant is not greater than 0, then the compiler will skip to this step and check if the discriminant is equal to 0. This is the operator we use to check whether discriminant is equal to 0. A single equal to won't work. You have to give two equal to sign to check if the discriminant is equal to 0. So discriminant equal to 0. Again, within the curly braces, you have to give all these values. What we have to do when discriminant is equal to 0. When discriminant is equal to 0, the roots are real and that are same. So we will be calculating our root. Here we need only one variable, and the root is minus b divided by 2 times a. So this value will be calculated and stored into the variable x1, and we will see out x1 equal to x2. As you know, this comes inside the double quotes, so it will be printed as such. So x1 equal to x2 equal to, here you will get the value of x1 will be printed over here, and we have an end L because we need to leave a line after that. This is optional. And we have one more. We have one more case, and that is else case. Tessie, why are you late?
ടീച്ചർ ഇന്ന് പള്ളിയിൽ പോന്നപ്പോൾ വന്നപ്പോൾ താമസം.
Okay. So after that, we have an else case, and in else case, we have tried with discriminant greater than 0, discriminant equal to 0. The case which is remaining is discriminant less than 0. When the discriminant is less than 0, you know that here comes our complex part. We will have two complex numbers that will be different, and that will be the complex conjugate of each other. So we need to calculate their real part first, then we will calculate their imaginary part, and we will see out it as two different numbers. This is what we are going to do here. So real part, this is the variable which I have named as real part. You can name it anyway. RE is fine, R is fine, anything as your choice. So I have named it as real part. So real part is minus b divided by 2a, and the imaginary part is again a variable. Imaginary part is equal to square root of negative of the determinant divided by 2a, because here the determinant is already negative. So C++ compiler cannot find square root of a negative number. It can only find the square root of a positive number. If we have calculated it as a negative number, it will show an error. So we have to find the minus determinant. So the value inside the square root will become positive. The square root of minus determinant divided by 2a will be calculated. And after that, we will see out, roots are complex and different. This is what we need to tell about the roots when the determinant is less than 0. We will end it with an end L, a line break. After that, we will give x1 is equal to the value which is stored in the variable real part plus the value which is stored in the imaginary part followed by an I. You can also write real part plus I, and after the imaginary part number, anything any way you love to. So it will be see out the first root x1 is equal to real part plus I into imaginary part. The second root see out x2 is equal to real part minus I into imaginary part. So this will have a program look, and I have to close this parenthesis also. This is for the else loop, and I will use a return 0 syntax. Since I have used an int main here, I have to give a return 0. So this is the program. Do you have any doubts? Prathiv, why are you late? So any doubts, guys? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, shall I move on compiling this?
ടീച്ചർ ലാസ്റ്റ് കേസിലെ
Yeah.
ഡിസ്ക്രിമിനന്റ് നമ്മള് ലെസ് ദാൻ 0 എന്ന് കൊടുക്കാത്തത് ഇനി ആ കേസ് മാത്രം ഉള്ളതുകൊണ്ടാണ്.
അതെ യെസ് സീറോ എന്ന് കൊടുക്കാത്തത് ഇനി ആ ഒരൊറ്റ കേസ് മാത്രമേ ലെഫ്റ്റ് ഉള്ളൂ, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. എനിത്തിങ് എൽസ്? Shall we move on and compile it? Adil, please try this. Adil, are you trying this? Just copy pasting just to save my time. If you need, I can type it also. Is there anyone who want to see typing?
ടൈപ്പ് ഇത്രയും ടൈപ്പ് ചെയ്യണ്ടേ?
Yes.
സമയം എടുക്കില്ല ടീച്ചർ.
Can I WhatsApp it?
ടീച്ചർ അത് കോപ്പി ചെയ്ത് ഈ ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിലിടാം.
Yeah, sure.
ഓക്കെ.
The word limit. Is this okay, Adil?
ഓക്കെ ടീച്ചർ.
Okay, please try it. It will be very good if you can type and try it so that you can make mistakes and correct it later. And everybody, please try it at home. You won't get much chances to try it at college because we don't have that much of systems out there. I'm compiling my program. This is DEV C++. I also have Turbo C++. Okay, guys, please listen. If you are working with Turbo C++, you have to give #iostream.h. Here we don't have .h, but in case you're working with Turbo C++, this .h have to be here, and using namespace standard can be deleted. Clear? Can anybody respond? If you're working with Turbo C++, you have to give .h with iostream. You can delete this using namespace standard. So this is how the syntax will change when you're working with Turbo C++. We can discuss this later when we are working in our lab. So I'm compiling this. After compilation, I have 0 errors and 0 warnings. Of course, I have done this before because so it's obvious. So let me run my program. So the program asks me enter the coefficients of A, B and C. So let me give some coefficients. Say I'm giving 1, 10 and 25. So this will be x square plus 10x plus 25 equal to 0. This is what I am going to calculate. X square plus 10x plus 25 equal to 0. So this other result. The roots are real and same, and x1 is equal to x2 equal to minus 5. Can anybody just calculate this manually and see if the result is correct? X square plus 10x plus 25.
I'm on a calculator also, it's the same.
Okay, fine. Now we will try with other cases. Can you please give me some other cases? Let's run again and see if work with some random numbers. See. So here the roots are complex and different. So the roots are x1 is equal to minus 1.25 plus a number followed by I. So how do you write the complex number x plus iy or x plus yi? Which way do you like to write it? X plus iy? Should I change it to x plus iy, guys? To change it to x plus iy, just you need to do is you can change this from here and before the imaginary part, so I will be printed as such. I space. This space will also be printed as such. Imaginary part, again you have to use the insertion operator. Hope you know why I'm giving this double quotes. X plus iy and x minus iy, giving one more spaces over here so that it will look good. Compiling it. Let me run my program again. The coefficients 2, 5 and 8. So here I have this. The roots are complex and different. I have two different roots. Shall I add one more space before plus and minus so that it will look good? I have two numbers that are complex conjugate of each other. Now, so definitely here b square minus 4ac is a negative number because b square is 25 and 4 times 2 is 8 and 8 times 8 is 64. So our discriminant is negative. So we have two roots which are complex conjugate of each other. Let's try with some other number. Yeah.
ഒരു ഡൗട്ട് ടീച്ചർ, ഇപ്പൊ എയുടെ വാല്യൂ 0 ആണ് കൊടുക്കുന്നതെങ്കിലോ?
എയുടെ വാല്യൂ 0 ആണ് കൊടുക്കുന്നതെങ്കിൽ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് നോട്ട് ക്വാഡ്രാറ്റിക് ഇക്വേഷൻ.
അപ്പൊ
എക്ക് 0 കൊടുക്കാൻ പാടില്ലല്ലോ.
മനസ്സിലായോ? അപ്പൊ പിന്നെ അത് എക്സ് സ്ക്വയറിലുള്ള ടേം ആയില്ലല്ലോ, ലീനിയർ ആയില്ലേ. എക്സിന്റെ ടേം മാത്രമല്ലേ എക്സിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. സോ വി കാൺട്ട് യൂസ് ദിസ് പ്രോഗ്രാം ഫോർ ദാറ്റ്. Clear? Oh God. Monsi, is this the time you're entering the class? We are about to wind it up.
ടീച്ചർ ഞാൻ NCC പോയിരുന്നു, അങ്ങനെ ക്യാമ്പ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് ഇപ്പോഴാണ് വന്നത്.
Okay. Anyways, I'll give you the recorded classes.
Okay ടീച്ചർ, താങ്ക് യു ടീച്ചർ.
This is another case. Here the roots are real and same, and x1 equal to x2 is equal to -2. Guys, you can manipulate these results the way the output comes in your own way. You just not need to give x1 is equal to 0. You can add as value of x1 or anything you type in between these double quotes will be presented as such. So you can write your own program in your own way and make it look very different and very elegant. This is the simplest way in which you can calculate this using a C++ program. Of course, you can delete some more lines from this also, but I think this is fair enough. You can write your own programs. Instead of copying this, I request you to write your own programs and try compiling this. Just use the logic as the same, but you can try different methods with this output, how your output should look. So you're different. Every program will look different, not like a copy paste of anything else. How many of you can try this at home? I understand many of you don't have a personal computer. How many of you need to use the laboratory for this? Can a representative respond, please? Are you aware of this? Sorry, I'm not reading your chats if you're chatting. Guys, okay, Abhirami.
Yes, ma'am.
How many students in your class need to use a laboratory for this?
Ma'am, I Ketila.
How many of the students are not having a personal computer or just having a phone with them and they should use the laboratory computer lab for this?
Ma'am, I should check with them, ma'am. I'll let you know soon.
Okay. Is there a larger number of students because we have only 2 computers there?
Maybe, madam. Mostly, there will be
Okay.
more than 2 students.
Okay.
I'll check with them. And ma'am, we don't have a computer lab at college.
Actually, we don't. We have only 2 systems to work on, and one is at our MSc lab and another with our staff room. And they are
Ma'am,
using Turbo
but
C++.
the library the whole ഒരു computer lab ഉണ്ട്, and there are a few computers. We can't use that.
I don't know whether they are equipped with the compiler or not. I need to check, Abhirami.
Okay, madam. Okay.
Okay, let me check with them. By the time you just arrange with your friends and let me know. Because
Okay, ma'am.
you
Okay.
won't get enough time to work this also because you don't have enough contact classes.
Okay,
So,
ma'am.
so those who can do this at home, please try this today itself. Okay, everybody, you need to try this today itself, and instead of copy pasting, type everything and test and do the error check. If you're coming with some errors which you cannot rectify, not able to rectify, then please come to me. We can work on this simultaneously, and we will end up having a good C++ program. You need not actually by heart these programs. You just need to get the logic and type the program as your own. So Adil, are you okay? Are you done with your compiling?
ടീച്ചർ ഞാൻ കോപ്പി പേസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ചെയ്തത് അപ്പൊ കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് തന്നെ വന്നു.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's obvious, definitely.
ഞാൻ അത് ടൈപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം ടീച്ചർ.
Yeah, okay. So, do you have any doubts, guys? Anyone?